This episode of Casual Friday is brought to you by Full Sail University.
Animals don't cross your personal boundaries that much in like civilized
and when
human
they
existence.
do, it's like a big deal. Like, this is a rabid fish, man. It's gonna bite and kill me.
So I've been streaming a little bit of Dark Souls on Twitch just for fun. I've streamed literally every second of that game that I've played because I really like the idea of having a chat to kind of walk me through it. They've been really good about not spoiling things exactly, but just kind of answering my questions when I have them, and I think that might be the perfect way to play Dark Souls. I don't think I could handle Dark Souls blind. I don't think I could do it. Did you play Dark Souls 1 just like with no help?
So I played, I remember I played the first Demon Souls, and because there were all these amazing reviews, and so I went out and I rented it. I was in college back then. I played it for 20 minutes and never played it again. I was like, this doesn't feel like Mass Effect. Like, this is not like the third person, action game that I'm used to. And never played it again. And then I had like 3 or 4 false starts on Dark Souls years later, where I got to like the gargoyles and then just hit a wall and just gave up. And then I broke through, and I think it was actually after playing some Dark Souls 2. I kind of, for some reason, I had like accrued enough knowledge of how the game works that I was finally able to like cross that barrier and plow through. I still haven't beaten either of them, but I'm like level 100 in the original Dark Souls and pretty far in Dark Souls 2.
I think it's really impressive that Dark Souls 2 is mostly satisfying the Dark Souls fans. That they were able to make a sequel to that game while tweaking aspects of it and still making it feel new, but not dumbing it down, or like it feels, everything I've seen of Dark Souls 2 seems exactly like a Dark Souls game in every way, right? It doesn't feel compromised, does it?
Well, I think that there's definitely some people who feel like it is compromised. Like the fact that there's fast travel everywhere, I think some people are not a huge fan of. But you're right, like for the most part, it is an incredibly satisfying experience. And I think that it does do a better job of kind of easing players into that world than the first Dark Souls did. But I still agree with you that I think Dark Souls kind of has this interesting paradox where the best part of the game is not knowing what is next and kind of discovering how the game works and the game world on your own. But in order to get to that point, you need to learn kind of the language of how the game works. And so there's kind of this interesting balance where if you know too much about the game, then it's not going to seem mysterious.
It'll be mechanical,
Yeah, exactly. But if you don't know enough, then I think that it's just impenetrable. And like, I think that's a totally valid criticism.
Yeah, that is my experience.
How you found it, right?
Like, so I was really excited because like basically what you just said, like the whole like premise of the game, the reason why it's so exciting, like it's mysterious, you have like all this curiosity, you're exploring this world, and you're like, you can kind of go wherever you want, assuming you can survive like getting past whatever, some huge monster. But so I was really into that idea. I mean, one of my favorite things in a game is like the exploration and like my curiosity of like what's over here. But I had no idea what to do when I jumped in the game, and I play Eve, so like I'm into some like pretty hardcore like nerdy stuff, and when I see like that page with all the like the numbers and like the plus to like resistances and strength and whatever, luck, whatever, everything on that list, I'm like, I have no idea what that means, but okay, whatever, close it, figure that out later. Jump into the game, I'm like, okay, I survive like getting past this one monster, get to another one, it kills me, I'm like, okay, well I can't go that way, I go this other way. Someone, I read a message saying, jump off this cliff, you'll get a really cool sword or something. I'm like, all right, and then I jump off and I'm dead. I'm like, okay, great, so someone's trolling me. Now I learned that lesson. And so like, I feel like I tried pretty hard to get into it, but there is this barrier of like, I guess what you're saying, like the language, and I'm not really sure how one goes about understanding it. Like,
I don't know what I would do if I didn't have a Twitch chat telling me like, this stat kind of matters more, this one will matter more later. Like,
or just even where to go, because I got to a point where I was like, I can't go here, and I just don't even know what to do.
It's easy to get disoriented. And I think you use the word mysterious, which I think is, like Zach said, kind of the blessing and the curse of it, right? Like, games aren't mysterious anymore for the most part. There aren't games coming out that are big question marks the way Dark Souls is. But at the same time, like, to someone who's used to, and it's not even that you're used to traditional linear games, because you, like you said, you play Eve, it's just like, it is inscrutable, basically, to someone who's coming into it blind, which is cool, but will turn a lot of people off. And I guess I like that there can be games that don't give a shit whether you like them or not. You know, there's something kind of badass about that, I feel like.
But so what do I need? So, like, do you think, now that you've done it, now that you've crossed this threshold, like, is there something I can do? Like, do I just keep, like, it feels like I'm hitting my head against a wall.
Well, I feel like you haven't crossed the threshold. Like,
I know I haven't. How do I?
How do you? So I don't know, like for me, it was just a process over time of playing the game and then stopping for a while. And then the next time that I go back into it, I have like a little bit more knowledge.
A glimmer of hope.
Yeah. But if there is like, it sounds like there's not a specific boss or something that is like in your way. It's just kind of, what I think it really is it's a mindset. It's like you need to know what you're getting into and kind of throw out your other expectations that are kind of created from just every other game that you play.
I did a 90-minute stream of Dark Souls 2 weekends ago, where by the end of it, I was the exact same place where I started. I made literally no progress the entire 90 minutes, and I don't know, because on the one hand, I try not to come into it with expectations, but sometimes I will like be locked onto a dude and accidentally roll off a cliff that I didn't see was there, and I'll just be like, fun. That was a fun thing that happened. What a fun time.
But that was your fault, Nick.
That's the thing, I guess, and that's kind of what's cool about it, is that like games like Spelunky, when you screw up, it is on you. It doesn't teach very well, or it doesn't want to teach very well, but it's your fault when you lose, and that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
There's consequence. You know, like, that's rare now.
Totally. And again, like, I think that the games are just like masterpieces, but they're not for everyone. Like, I will be the first to admit that. Like, not everyone should get into Dark Souls. Everyone should try it, I think. It might not be for you. I actually think that you could get into it. I think that you're the type of person, again, you play EVE, you play StarCraft, you look at that like stat sheet and you're like, if I make the wrong move, then my character is destroyed. I need to be min-maxing this to be the best guy, because that's kind of the way that you play a lot of video games, is there's a huge imbalance between the power that you have and the power that everything else in the world has, and you need to maximize that power. I think you need to not do that at all. Like, I think that you might need to look at a guide at some point, but don't look up like builds. Just explore and just like find what feels right, and what you will hit that point where it becomes fun. You do have to grind at some point, certainly in the first Dark Souls.
Well, what's counterintuitive though is, like, at least in the beginning, everything is so insanely strong that I feel like, oh, I definitely have screwed up at some point because I can't kill anything.
And there are some wrong turns you can make where you go into areas that you are woefully underleveled for.
Yeah. Right? And so, like, there's two things that could be happening. One is that, well, you went to the area that the game is teaching you to not go to by killing you. Like, that is how it teaches you that lesson. But the other part of that is that, like, even the most basic interaction with low-level enemies is much more sophisticated than in other games where you're like slaughtering rats, where they never pose a true threat.
It's just you swing your thing, you push the button
I've
a few
gotten
times,
cocky
and it dies.
and gotten killed by like some really stupid skeletons before, because that's Dark Souls.
Yeah, like even the encounter with the weakest enemy can result in death if you like stop thinking about it, if you become impatient, and if you just assume that, oh, well, I just need to get to the boss part here. I just need to get past this.
How viable is the strategy of just running past stuff? Like, how long does that work for? Because I've tried that a couple times and had mixed success.
So you're not going to beat the game that way.
Okay.
If you're trying to get from place to place, sure, that's viable. I would suggest not doing that though, because each soul really counts as far as buying things and leveling up.
I guess it's just like, each soul counts, but the less souls I pick up, the less I have to lose, you know? It's like, I don't want to commit to anything. It's like a metaphor for my whole life.
Yeah. I kind of was wondering if I should just stop caring about how many souls I have, because I'm never going to have, like, any, basically. Like, just die.
So let go.
Just let go.
Let go. Check on this.
Surrender.
Check on this Estus flask.
No, I don't want any of that. This
we found in the park.
This is not ours. This was here before we got here.
A little prop.
That's some park wine.
That's
some
park
quality
wine.
Park wine.
Park Souls.
Park Souls.
Yeah, local San Francisco park wine.
So, Dark Souls has been a hugely influential game for game developers, and if you want to enter that community yourself, you should check out Full Sail University. If you've ever considered working behind the scenes to create your own video games, Full Sail University offers programs that can prepare you for a future in the industry. Whether you're interested in coding, art, producing, or mobile game development, there's a game degree program at Full Sail that can teach you the tools, technology, and workflow used by today's studios.
Full Sail University has offered game programs for more than a decade, and grads have worked on titles such as GTA 5, the Call of Duty series, Assassin's Creed 4, and a lot more. Full Sail students also receive a laptop loaded with game industry software and a deep institutional discount. Plus, you can attend in person or online, so you have 2 choices. For more information on Full Sail, visit fullsail.edu/casualfriday to learn more.